Tonight on the Northwestern News Network Earth Day Special, a greener Evanston. We'll cover trash cleanups, policy changes, and more that's helping the city reach its environmental goals.
Back on campus, an Earth Month fair in Norris that's putting the creativity in sustainability.
And move over Easter Bunny, why this local egg hunt replaces the holiday's usual mascot with a waterfowl.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report Earth Day Special.
It's your environmental news right now.
Good evening and welcome to NNN's Earth Day Special, where we bring you everything in environmental news. I'm Kunjal Bastola.
And I'm Ananya Chugh. Let's get growing. The city of Evanston is honoring Earth Month with a community cleanup effort to make a local impact. I picked up the story.
With gloves on and bags in hand, Evanston residents came together Saturday for the annual Main Dempster Mile Earth Day cleanup.
We'd love to be a district that tells a story of being sustainable and all of our businesses being sustainable.
Volunteers gathered at Harbert Park and 9 other sites across Evanston to collect litter, remove debris, and promote sustainability one bag at a time.
Just the amount of cigarette butts. There's like thousands of them. It's crazy.
Families also took part in the cleanup, including parents who brought their children to help out and learn about environmental responsibility early on.
I just find it really important to take care of our community and instill those values on our children.
Some local businesses also took part, offering discounts or free items to volunteers.
The businesses want to say thank you to the people who volunteer, so we give them a wristband, and then there's a list of like a dozen businesses where people can go to get a present.
While the cleanup only took a few hours, organizers say the impact on the environment and on Evanston residents can last much longer.
One was in her 70s, she was retired. One was in her 30s, she just moved here from San Diego, and I think they're best friends now.
The city of Evanston's next eco-conscious event, the Evanston Earth Day Fest, is this Saturday.
In recent years, the city of Evanston has taken several environmental policy steps to tackle climate change, sustainability, and more. Evanston's most recent Climate Action and Resilience Plan was implemented in 2018, and the city has passed additional environmental proposals in recent months. NNN's Victoria Ryan is here with us in the studio now to break down the most recent changes. Victoria?
Thanks, Kunjal. The Evanston Land Use Commission reviewed and revised the draft of Envision Evanston 2045 last week. Let's look at what this plan looks like in terms of environmental policy. The proposal names 9 policy statements, primarily relating to land management and increased sustainability. We see here implement land practices that benefit soil health and support the Lake Michigan ecosystem. In addition, the city passed the Healthy Buildings Ordinance back in March. The proposal applies to buildings larger than 20,000 square feet and lists 3 goals. Buildings must be energy efficient, buildings must eliminate on-site and district system emissions, and buildings must solely procure renewable energy. The city created the Healthy Buildings Accountability Board and the Healthy Buildings Technical Committee to support these changes, and companies can submit an alternative compliance pathway plan if they are unable to meet these targets. Ordinance compliance is coming at the annual check-in on June 30th. Evanston is the 2nd city in the Midwest and the 1st in Illinois to pass a plan of this kind.
Thank you, Victoria. More information on Evanston's environmental policy can be found on the City of Evanston website.
District 65 unveiled a new sustainability plan at a school board meeting earlier this month. The proposal is modeled on Evanston Township High School's plan to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 and become a zero-waste facility by 2045. The plan identifies 4 main areas of focus: teaching and learning in healthy environments, sustainable operations, and transportation and mobility. Evanston and Skokie staff, students, caregivers, community organizations, and government employees finalized a 29-page plan after working in meetings since October of last year. In an introduction to the plan, Superintendent Angel Turner wrote, quote, "This transformation will take a team effort. Small changes like composting, recycling, and turning off the lights matter. System-wide endeavors like adopting the sustainability plan for our school district matters." Each of the 4 areas contains a set of key goals which the district aims to implement in all schools in the district.
Those hoping to take part in ASG Sustainability Committee's biggest event of the year were treated to some unfortunate news just days before kickoff. ASG Sustainability Committee's annual Green Out celebration honors Earth Day with club activities, live music, and learning opportunities. It was supposed to kick off this past weekend, but the event was moved to May 4th. This event has also been relocated from Deering Lawn to the Lakeville. The committee cited late notice from university administration as the reason behind the rescheduling. A post on the Sustainability Committee's Instagram says that, quote, "University administration has informed us that we cannot use Deering Lawn for Green Out. While the reason given was ongoing construction, no student organizations are permitted to use Deering Lawn this spring, despite the space remaining active for other campus events." The university did not immediately respond to our request for comment.
Sustain NU brought students and Evanston residents together in support of the planet. NNN's Ashley Dong has the story.
Attendees at Sustain NU's annual Earth Month Fair painted terracotta pots, got reusable water bottles, and ate seedling cupcakes in Norris last Tuesday.
I just feel so happy looking around the room and seeing such a full room of passionate people who are working for the environment. It's so important, and this has given me hope.
Sustain NU is a university-wide program committed to creating an ecologically sound and economically sustainable culture at Northwestern.
We're kind of getting the word out about some of the ways people can embed sustainability into their day-to-day life. We're advertising programs such as composting at the university, how to recycle correctly.
Many student clubs and school environmental organizations showed up to support this effort. Junior Simon Kissel is the vice president of Prairie Cats, a club dedicated to ecological restoration both on and off campus.
It makes people think twice about what they're doing when you're like cutting down trees and that type of thing, if you really know what's going on in the ecosystem around you.
NU Dining's sustainability table taught students how to make pesto in an unconventional way, using carrot tops.
I just hope students more broadly can think of ways to incorporate sustainability creatively into their lives.
There was no shortage of ideas to make daily life more sustainable. Longtime Evanston resident Cindy Mason urges every student to take action.
We can't ignore what's happening in the world, and you know, even if you are not an activist, you can do something like use a reusable fork or make pesto out of carrot tops.
For Kay, sustainability is more important now than ever.
Right now, when we're facing climate change and so many issues around the environment, we really need people to show up and do their part to make a more sustainable planet and a more sustainable campus.
Ashley Dong, Northwestern News Network.
You can join Sustain NU for their annual Arbor Day tree planting event this Friday. Check out their Instagram at Sustain NU for more.
It's been over a year since construction began on the new Ryan Field. With a project that large and a relationship with the City of Evanston to maintain, the university and its contractors have been forced to take some sustainability goals into consideration. NNN's Gabriella Amberher-Medalliou has done some research into the project. Gabriella, what are the main environmental concerns Evanston residents have about the demolition and construction of the new Ryan Field?
Well, Kunjal, residents are primarily worried about the potential for air and water pollution, noise, and structural damage to nearby homes. Demolition activities may release particulate pollution, which could contaminate local water system through runoff. Vibrations from the construction could compromise the foundations of older houses in the area, and additionally, the extended hours of noisy construction have raised quality of life concerns, especially for those living closest to the site.
And how is Northwestern addressing sustainability and environmental accountability during the Ryan Field project?
Northwestern has committed to achieving LEED Gold certification for the new stadium, a high standard for environmental sustainability. However, critics argue that the university's broader sustainability efforts lack follow-through, citing the expired 2017 to 2021 plan and the absence of an updated version. The university is also required to create a new sustainability plan at least 6 months before the stadium's first public event, per its memorandum understanding with Evanston.
And why isn't Northwestern using deconstruction, a more sustainable alternative to demolition, for the existing stadium?
It's a great question. Deconstruction, a process that salvages and reuses building materials, is not being used because the current Ryan field contains hazardous materials like lead and other toxins, making it unsafe to use many components. This limitation has fueled criticism from residents who believe the teardown reflects a lack of serious commitment to environmental stewardship, especially given the scale of visibility of the project.
And finally, what steps are being taken to monitor environmental impact during construction?
Northwestern will monitor vibrations during demolition and report the data to the city, which will be posted publicly online. Alderman Eleanor recommends that residents take the photos of their homes' foundations now to document any potential future damage. The city's 311 line will also have a special section for residents to report environmental concerns. However, residents and city officials are still calling for a designated contact person from Northwestern to streamline communication.
Thank you, Gabriella, for your reporting. We will continue to keep you updated on the Ryan Field project as it gets closer to completion.
Coming up, hopping into sustainability with this exciting Easter event.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, now!
Welcome back. Since taking office, the Trump administration has worked to reverse several Biden-era energy initiatives in favor of an American energy-focused strategy. NNN's Paris Franzway is here in studio to break down the administration's energy goals.
Thanks, Kunjal. One of the 4 priorities listed on the Trump administration's website is American energy dominance.
My administration will seek not only the American energy independence that we've been looking for so long, but American energy dominance, and we're going to be an exporter.
So what does that mean in practice? The idea is to increase domestic energy production so much so that the U.S. can stop buying energy from other countries and start selling excess energy globally. Those in support believe this strategy will increase national security by reducing economic reliance on other countries and decrease energy costs for Americans. President Trump signed an executive order in February establishing a National Energy Dominance Council. It's led by Interior Secretary Doug Burgum and Energy Secretary Chris Wright. And the council's job is to advise the president on ways to achieve the energy dominance goal. Now, Republicans have described American energy dominance as an all-of-the-above approach, meaning expanding production of all forms of energy, including both renewable and non-renewable sources. Now, the executive order establishing the council contained a long list of energy resources to expand, but notably missing from that list was wind and solar energy.
They are not interested in intermittent resources. They are interested in things that are controllable, scalable, large.
Much of the Trump administration's actions have undone Biden-era initiatives that promoted offshore solar and limited fossil fuel projects. On Trump's first day in office, he signs an executive order pausing offshore wind energy leases in federal water. Now, this means projects that would build windmills in the ocean, mainly along the East Coast, were stopped. Just last week, the administration ordered construction to stop on a fully permitted offshore wind project. In a post on X, Interior Secretary Doug Burgum said the project would be stopped, quote, until further review of information that suggests the Biden administration rushed through its approval without sufficient analysis. While the administration has restricted leasing federal waters for offshore wind, they feel differently about fossil fuel production. Upon taking office, the Trump administration reversed a Biden-era restriction to now allow federal waters and the Arctic to be leased for oil and gas drilling. So altogether, it's a big focus on not just expanding energy domestically, but reversing renewable energy projects started by the Biden administration. Back to you, Kunjal.
Thank you for breaking down these big energy policy goals, Paris.
The work on the first all-electric home in Evanston was finished last month as a part of the Green Homes pilot. The project is a step towards Evanston's climate action plan to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. The home includes various new features such as an upgraded electrical panel, basement air sealing, and a kitchen induction range. Mayor Daniel Bisk and 5th Ward Council member Bobby Burns were there to celebrate the completion. The retrofits were fully funded by grants.
There's another project in Evanston taking efficiency to another level. The Evanston History Center spotlighted the city's first passive house at Maple Avenue in April. The home uses 75% less energy than a typical building. Architect Nate Kipnis and homeowner Margaret Stender shared the secrets behind its energy-efficient design. The house runs entirely on solar power and avoids an energy-intensive basement. It is heavily insulated and uses electric heat pumps to maintain just 0.37 air changes per hour, a key to its efficiency.
We hit 0.37, a submarine is 0, and the International Space Station is somewhere in between. They got a leak going on. And the other thing is, if we were to somehow pick up Margaret's house and whip it in the lake, it would float.
Kipnis designed the high-tech, eco-friendly house to blend into Evanston's Ridge Historic District before Stender moved in last April. Kipnis is now planning another passive house in Evanston on Isabella Street.
Now, Kunjal, how have you felt about being caught in the downpours recently? It seems like these April showers just keep popping up.
Well, thankfully, I can't say that I have been caught in any downpours. My weather apps have helped me stay dry. But you know, I've always wondered how meteorologists are able to tell.
Wait, I have an idea. Emmanuel, in honor of Earth Day, would you do the honors of explaining just how you do it?
So what goes into making a forecast? So let's start off with what we are seeing here, which is where all the action happens. You're looking at the National Weather Service of Chicago down in Romeoville, 50 miles south of Evanston. You might ask, what is that giant white looking balloon up there? That is the Doppler radar, which detects all sorts of precipitation as far as 143 miles away. Let's start with the basics. Most, if not all, weather is caused by low pressure systems. For our purposes, let's first focus on the counterclockwise wind direction associated with low pressure systems, right over North Dakota and Minnesota. Looking over North Dakota, it's safe to forecast super windy conditions with temperatures dropping, possibly by 10 degrees, as that cold front passes by. Closer to Minnesota, it is calm and warm, possibly humid since they are under that warm front. We can forecast that in the coming hours, rain will occur in Minnesota along with a drop in temperatures as that system moves east. We're analyzing this in the context of our timestamp and what we can expect in Chicago in the coming hours and days. Even on a larger scale, we can see the sources of temperatures, dry air being dragged down from the north and moist air being pulled up from the south. Not only that, but we can also see what other systems are doing in the continental US, along with what we can anticipate in temperatures. For example, there is a similar pattern with the low right over Wisconsin. Cloud cover says everything. Doing a mini case study on Minneapolis, since Minneapolis is under that warm front, we can forecast clear skies with still winds and no temperature variations at 4 p.m. But looking west, we can predict a different story. As for Chicago, it is cloudy as we are under a different low pressure system. But it is safe to say that we could see an anticipation of a small break in clouds the following day before the other system pulls through. Keep in mind that was yesterday. But the satellite images confirm everything. Looking at the satellite image from midnight, as predicted earlier, Minneapolis is under that cold front with clouds and rain, and we could assume clouds next for Chicago. As that cold air pushes the warm air upwards across the plains, this creates convection, allowing for rain and clouds to form. Now we can be more confident to see clouds and some showers for Chicago later on in the evening for the following day. Now we can take a look at what the Storm Prediction Center even predicted at 8 a.m. yesterday. We can confirm they similarly predicted that low over North Dakota to create rain across the Dakotas, Minneapolis, across the northern plains, and into the Midwest. Those are the simple steps, but there is a lot of complexities to forecasting with the very details. It requires interactive and collaborative environment with forecasters across the region. When in the office, I will look at the water vapor, dew points, cloud lift, and most importantly, translate those Scuti plots into words. Forecasting is not just for phones, but for airports, businesses, and events.
Thanks, Emmanuel, for your report.
Evanston may soon see more blue bikes on the road. The city's Environment Board got an update last Thursday on the expansion of the Divvy bike stations in Evanston. Last October, the council officially approved the addition of 5 new Divvy stations that can each hold 15 bikes. Evanston plans to use its own money as well as funding from the Invest in Cook County grant. In addition to the 5 stations, they plan to adapt the current stations for electric scooters and expand the Divvy for Everyone program, which supplies Divvy memberships at a low discount to low-income residents. The city hopes to introduce the new stations next year.
This weekend, there are plenty more Earth Day events to keep the good vibes growing. Northwestern students can help plant trees on campus on Friday from 10 to 2. The event honors Arbor Day, and students can pick one of the 2 shifts to help out. The next day, Ridgeville Parks District is hosting a gardening volunteering event at 1. Or celebrate with the Evanston Ecology Center with the free Earth Day Fest at noon. Enjoy hands-on activities, inspiring resources, and nature-filled fun. With all these opportunities, Earth Month is in full bloom.
Kids participated in an excellent example of sustainability in action this past Saturday. NNN's Rachel Spears has the story.
Colorful eggs dotted the grass and playground in Eggleston Park at Evanston's annual Arboretum Egg Hunt. But there was a twist. Instead of the usual plastic eggs, they were all made out of wood.
We've gotten to a point where we really wanted sustainability to be a focus of our event, and so we transitioned all of our eggs from the classic plastic eggs that open up to wooden eggs that we have volunteers paint every year.
Like at any egg hunt, kids hunted for eggs around the park, but instead of taking them home, they returned them, and in exchange, they all received activity bags, complete with a spring scavenger hunt.
We love this egg hunt. It's because it's more like nature-based and you don't get all those plastic eggs, so you don't have all those eggs clogging up your house later on.
The event also included face painting and games. It was run by Evanston's Parks and Recreation Department. One of the department's goals was to get children and their families talking about sustainability at home while also having a good time.
It's a chance for maybe parents or grandparents to have a conversation with even little kids about, oh, these eggs are reusable, we're going to search for them again next year, and we can come back and do this every year in a way that is good for the earth.
For the kids who participated, the focus of the egg hunt wasn't just on sustainability, but instead, fun. One participant told us her favorite part of the event.
To get eggs and to run around.
After 4 waves of egg hunters, all 750 hand-painted eggs made their way back to the mother wood duck. Saving the planet one Easter egg at a time, Rachel Spears, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Rachel. So, Ananya, did you do any Easter egg hunts this year?
Actually, I did. I did one on Sunday, and I got tons of Cadbury eggs. Those are my favorite.
Oh my gosh, those are my favorite too.
No way.
I love those. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us for this Earth Day special. I'm Kunjal Bastola.
And I'm Ananya Chugg. Have a good night and a great rest of your Earth Month.